Live from the Stream Center in Tampa, Florida, the home of News Channel 8, your official Bucs station. This is Bucs Bonus on WFLA Now, powered by 1-800-ASK-GARY.
The Bucs are hot, you guys. Can they continue the win streak in Week 16 against the Jacksonville Jaguars? Where does Devin White's relationship stand with Bulls and the team? Baker Mayfield earns big NFC honors after his stellar performance against the Packers. We tell you all that and more right here, right now on Bucs Bonus. I'm your host, Eileen Natchuk, alongside my teammate and your Bucs insider, Karen Loftus.
Hello, 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 hello.
Okay, what's going on right now? This is insane. 3-game win streak from the beginning of the season to now, right? We thought they would be here in the beginning of the season. They went through some trials, and now they're full circle. They're getting hot when they need to. What were your thoughts after that Packers win, Karen?
I thought it was a great display of their offense. The things that Dave Canales was saying early in the season, he's like, yes, we have some of these stumbles right now, but it's going to pay off. So it's like, okay, he knew what he was talking about. How about that?
Yeah.
Everybody in-house
all the haters
knows,
and doubters out there.
How about that? They knew it was going to all come together at the right time.
Right.
Super impressed with, obviously off the top, Baker Mayfield.
Absolutely.
He earned the NFC Offensive Player of the Week, and then he also just got the FedEx Air Player of the Week, which he was nominated for.
Wow.
And rightfully so. The thing that surprised me and this is not a discredit to Baker at all, but how rare this is that he was the first visiting player to have a perfect passer rating in Lambeau, which was incredible.
Absolutely.
381 yards.
Yep. 22 of 28.
That part.
4 tutties.
The completions.
Yeah.
It was just all clicking for them. And then you had Godwin, who just had a incredible game. Rashad White.
155 yards receiving, dude.
If you remember, he had 108 by halftime.
Crazy.
When it was like, okay, so it's going to be like that.
Crazy that there's no touchdowns for him, though, right? But because the stats only show you so much, right? It's okay, 155 yards, insane. Why no touchdowns? But
because Co needed one.
Yeah.
That's why.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, you're right. Congratulations to him. Yeah, that was awesome.
Anybody who just doesn't, get as many reps or as opportunities, like to see somebody, it's like, here's your moment. You haven't had a catch all season. I think he had only been targeted maybe 4 times total all season. First catch, first touchdown.
Yes.
And very much needed at that point, because I think at that point it gave him a 10-point lead.
And Dave Canales has been saying recently too, like, look, we want to get people involved, right? Like when they're putting Mike and Chris in double coverage, like we want to look to other people and we want them to step up. He was saying that last week. So it's so cool to see, the actions matching the words, right? Just an absolute stellar game by everyone, especially Baker. Todd Bowles described him as resilient. That's the one word he really stuck with in a few of his pressers. He's like, this is his character. This isn't just this game. Like I saw this when we signed him. Like this is why we signed him. So it's really cool to see this team hit its stride at the right time, especially with this playoff push. And there's someone that I can really think of, Karen, who is just so stoked about this Bucs team right now. And you know what? He's with us. He's in studio. We don't have the his typical package that we run. I was like, you know what, dude, you got to come in and you got to tell the people to their face.
Albert is in the building.
Buckified Bert, give it up for him.
Hello. We have real claps too. Wow, the horn, all of it.
Horn. I'm just gonna press them all.
Golf clap.
Oh yeah, Karen's fair.
Golf clap does not mean I'm lacking enthusiasm. Just trying to, we're being professional.
We
right?
love a golf clap.
Hey.
I want to see Buckified unprofessional right now. Buckified, are you just like, how are you feeling, dude? How are you?
I am on cloud 9 right about now because when you talk that talk and it didn't look like it to a lot of people at the beginning. Some of the experts picked us to only win maybe one game, or but it just didn't look like they didn't see what I was telling you all
along, man. A Hall of Famer, a Buccaneer fan Hall of Famer is what you are.
And so the fact that the Buccaneers are destined for a history we never done in the history of the franchise, back to back to back, and you just can't just take that away from us just because we switched from Tom Brady to Baker Mayfield.
That's right.
Baker Mayfield got a history, and when he took my cell phone, and took a selfie with he and I, that let me know that he's really ready to take it to the promised land, and we are on our way, and can't nothing stop us. Yeah, they put us on 24th, Christmas Eve, basically. And, so we got to do what we got to do Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. So the Buccaneers are destined for what we talked about all the time, back to back. And Baker Mayfield doing what he did in Lambeau Field, making history, what Karen said, passer rating, a perfect passer rating. I mean, that's something that ain't never been done. It was done on us by the 49ers, and so we played pretty much the best. And everything right now is shaped up for the Buccaneers to not only go back to back to back, but also for us to take it to the Super Bowl. I mean, it's
Here we go.
It's inevitable. I mean, I cannot see how anyone can stop. But Baker Mayfield is only getting better, and and because he's like in December. And this is the month in football, you really need to be clicking.
I know that's right.
Yep.
Got to play your best football this time of year, right?
Oh, my God, yes. And I can't tell you guys how much I really appreciate having this opportunity to come and talk.
Well, thanks for coming on.
We're so glad to have you on here.
And look, I want to
all the lights and all of the energy.
all the things.
I love it.
And I want to read you a stat, Buckified, here. Baker Mayfield has a better passer rating than Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, and Patrick Mahomes.
94.5 or something like that. How
do you feel about that?
I think that's right on point from what we saw when he was in training camp. Baker Mayfield is the real deal. In college, he won a national title. Number one pick in across the board. I mean, Baker Mayfield is the real deal. We are better off now than we were last year.
It's true. It's
figuratively speaking and literally, because we are not losing, but we're winning. We're winning because we're at 7-7, and we done lost our last game in November. We won't lose another game until preseason of next year.
Winning out.
There you go.
And rest of the regular season, all the playoffs.
All the playoffs. We done played the best.
And that big game at the end of the
season. We know what we're up
season.
against. We played the 49ers. We played the Eagles. We played Detroit. We played all of them, and we know what we up against. But if we get what I want a rematch with Dallas Cowboys.
Ooh, that'll be a good one.
It looks like him, but I just need
the
Eagles to help me out because, they need to stop losing these
He's
games.
not only calling Super Bowl, he's calling opponent too.
Yeah.
Be like, we'll be there. Who's meeting us?
Oh, yeah.
He's calling them out.
It's a dress rehearsal, with them to get us ready to take it to the promised land.
Yeah.
And again, it's the lights. And I know we talked at the beginning of the year, season, that the new costume, every time I get a new stock costume, the Buccaneers have a winning record, and that's why I went ahead and invested the money into the new costume, and having
looks great,
and having the lights. I mean,
fabulous.
I lost games in November. Didn't realize I didn't even have the ship lights on. And that's why every game December, the lights have been light.
You better not take those lights
I was going to
off.
say, I know Bucs fans are glad you figured it out.
Come on.
What was that picture that just came up? Was that a Grinch?
It was. There's a
was it somebody
dressed
at
out
the
as a
Packers
Grinch.
game?
Yeah, it was fantastic. What you got there, though, Buckified?
I got my lucky Ronnie Barber ball.
Let's see it.
It's autograph. With his autograph, the Hall of Fame and everything. So
how about that?
I mean,
shout out.
It means a lot.
Hall of Fame former Buccaneer, Rondé Barber.
And so when he
forever and ever.
I was up there at the Hall of Fame at his inauguration. It just felt so good, and that's I seen things happening before 2002 when we went all the way to the Super Bowl, and I'm feeling like I felt then. So it's like giving me love to take it to the promised land, just like we did Tupac, making history at Raymond James Stadium, first team to host a Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl, and I was there. I wouldn't miss it for nothing in the world.
Because you're a Hall of Famer.
All right.
That's why. Because you're also a Hall of Famer. Listen.
It feels so good to be with you guys. Thank you so much.
Albert, you're the best.
Before you go, Albert, I want you to look into that camera. And if you're listening, I guess, go on YouTube and watch him look into the camera.
Just believe it.
Just believe he's looking. Just believe he's looking at you. Look into that camera, okay? Speaking of this mic, I want you to give a pep talk to the Bucs team. Like you're in the huddle, and if you could give them a speech before they hit that field against the Jacksonville Jags, what would you say? Floor is yours.
In other words, this week we getting ready to take it to Christmas Eve. We need to give everybody in Tampa a present. And winning this game against the Jacksonville Jaguars not only sent a message to the whole entire state, because we want to be number one in the state, not only number one in the South, but Jacksonville is close to Georgia, so we need to whoop them just like we whoop Atlanta Falcons. So it's not no problem to do what we got to do to the Jacksonville Jaguars. We clicking, we on, we haven't lost in December. Our mind are set on winning it all, and Jacksonville is in the way, and we got to get them out of the way, give everybody a present, so everybody can wake up on Christmas morning the next day.
How about that?
Happy
there
and
you
smiling.
go.
All right. We appreciate
Yes,
you.
Buckified, you are awesome. Thank you so much for coming on. And you know what? Hopefully we're talking about a win next week.
Oh, without a doubt, ain't no hopes in it. I guarantee you, can't nothing stop us. Trust me, the lights are going to stay lit.
Appreciate you, Buckified.
Best fan.
Yes, amazing, awesome. We love him very, very much. Amazing person, fan, all the things. So with this upcoming game, though, we're looking at a possible Trevor Lawrence not being on the field.
Yes, I got injury report.
Oh, you do? Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
So just to recap, Trevor Lawrence dealing with an ankle injury and a concussion, which came out like after the game, I believe. The
That man is
concussion part of
limping
it.
off the field.
Did not participate.
He did not
Trevor
participate.
did not participate today.
I wonder if it was a walkthrough.
It doesn't say, because the Bucs have theirs and it has the asterisk and it says the Bucs conducted a walkthrough, and there's no asterisks underneath the Jaguars.
Interesting. Okay.
So.
Okay. Well, that's big. That's huge.
Yeah.
Shaq Barrett said today that they're preparing for Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
They're preparing and practicing as if they're going to face Trevor Lawrence, because I don't think he has missed a game in his entire career.
I don't know, but I know that he was dealing with that injury where it was like, I think it was like a high ankle sprain, which is like the bad one. And it's like, oh, he's going. We're like,
A question mark?
Question mark?
Are you sure? Okay, cool.
So I think it would take a lot. But I mean, concussion I feel like is different because there are specific protocols and you do not play around with that.
No, yeah.
So that is definitely, one of the, headlines that will follow probably up until game time.
Yeah, no doubt. But like we said, they'll be practicing and preparing like they're going to be playing him. Yeah, I think that's the biggest storyline there. As far as injuries go, Devin White, that has been a huge unnecessary conversation recently. It's a bit confusing how the timeline went. He was full participation Thursday and Friday last week, and then he was a no-go, but it was injury not related, but then it was. And then there was rumors about how he found out KJ Britt was starting over him, so then he was like, oh, I'm not playing. Well, guess what, guys? He spoke to the media.
Yeah, you were there. What did he have to say, and what were some of the questions that were asked?
It honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you, it kind of upset me a little bit, like listening to him. Like I'm like this poor guy. Like he's like there's no bad blood. Like he's happy for KJ Britt. His relationship with Todd Bowles is A1.
They've
like,
always had a good relationship.
He's like a father to him, on and off the field. He absolutely adores him. Is really proud of KJ Britt for stepping up. So there's no bad blood anywhere at any time. He said what had happened was he wasn't feeling up to it, and he was like, look, like if I'm not feeling up to it, that could hurt the team more than help, just because I want to be out there. So that is what he said. This is what they're saying. There's no need to think, come up, speculate, whatever. He wasn't ready to play. KJ Britt started, and their relationship's fine. The relationship's good.
Yeah, and he was full participation today.
Yeah.
But again, you said it was a walkthrough.
Yeah.
So.
Todd did say he was a full go.
Yeah.
Todd Bowles said he was a full go. So that's
listen. If that's it, like, and I feel like in the football culture, there is just always this idea of like push through, tough it out in every facet, which I get to a point, right? But I think Devin hit the nail on the head that if you're in a position where you think that you trying to tough it out or trying to play is going to be more of a detriment than a help.
right.
Like he knows KJ was playing well. And he's like, if I am not in a position to give 100% or even risk injuring further at this point in the season,
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that.
He said, look, they won 3 games without me.
Yeah.
Like they're, I'm happy for them. And I have a lot of respect for him going up to the media and saying all of this and knowing, there's a lot of he said, she said. He's like, you know what? I'm going to talk to the media. I'm going to, clear the air. And thank you to him for that. And again, that's not an easy task either to confront the media about that. So, good for him for doing that, because I felt like this was almost taking a little bit away from the 3-game win streak, the fact that they're first place in the NFC South, Baker Mayfield, NFC Offensive Player of the Week. There are so many positive things going on right now with the team, with the locker room. Like, hello, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Like this, he said, she said, no.
And between the two of us, it's like we're not looking for problems.
No, and
like we're looking for all the silver linings. Not that we're avoiding any sort of like
we'll talk about it if we need to.
But it's like to your point, 3-game win streak.
Yep.
And they're going up against a team. So some of the other storylines, like high level, just early in the week, you're talking about the Jaguars, who have lost their last 3. But it's like very talented team in the beginning of the season. It's like, okay, this is one of the favorites in the AFC. They're doing really well.
Yes.
Trevor Lawrence's injury, which we touched on. Is he a go? Is he a no-go?
And he is their offense. He is their team.
Yes.
If Trevor Lawrence is not there, they're not there.
But on the other side of the ball, the defense leading in turnover differential.
Okay.
Plus 15, best in the league. And I think Baker spoke about it today. That's a concern for sure when you're going up against a team that just has a knack for forcing turnovers.
Right.
Especially on the heels of last week, Baker had the early fumble, which we said to his credit, like you would have thought never happened. Look, we weren't even talking about that afterwards because everything he did was infinitely better than the one mistake early in the game.
Good outweighed the bad, no doubt.
So that's another key to the game, if you will.
Yeah.
Minding the turnovers, taking care of the football.
Yeah, no. And I think it's going to be very interesting. The biggest question for me, simple, but can they carry what they did last week into this week? Okay, cliche, simple. No, but seriously, because that's the first game they've played this season where they really clicked on all phases and they really excelled on all phases. Can they do it again this week against the Jags? If they can, they're a good football team. They're a good football team right now. If they can't, then it kind of goes back to the same old song and dance of, this is the Bucs, isn't it? What have they been doing? I don't trust them. So I think this is not only is our playoffs on the line, but it's also kind of like a prove it game in a way that I see it as.
The one thing that I think is a good takeaway from last week to carry forward, something that Baker pointed out today, when I believe somebody had asked if this was like the game where he felt it was all coming together and it was like light bulbs for everybody, like we're all clicking. He said, yes, granted there was, a discrepancy in passing yards and rushing yards, 99 rushing yards and 353 passing yards. So ideally it's like you want to have the balance, but he was like, we ran the ball when we needed to.
Right.
So being
Rashad
able to
working
build
in that passing game too, my goodness.
Being able to build on whatever the game gives you, I think was like one of the biggest takeaways and something that Dave Canales said earlier in the year. Like we want to be a run, heavy team, but in the sense of we want to know that we are able to run the ball every play if we need to.
Yeah. And I mean, how about this for running the ball? Trevor Lawrence was the Jags' leading rusher last week against the Ravens.
Was he?
So yeah, so they're they're gonna have to figure out how to contain the man.
Let me see if he had more this season where he was a leading rusher.
Yeah.
ETN's every single one except last game. But granted, it was only 41 yards.
Yeah.
They only scored 7 points.
Yeah. But yeah, look, so right now, if they win out, they're guaranteed. If they lose 1 or 2 games or whatnot, I'm pretty sure they still have a shot of making the playoffs, and they're also up for a wild card spot right now. But that's kind of hard because they have a lot of teams have a lot of the 500, a little bit of above 500 records right now.
And then the Saints are next. I'm looking up the Saints schedule right now because obviously those two are at the top.
Yeah. Man, I can't wait for that Saints game. That's going to be fun, especially for you and I.
On
Karen and
New
I,
Year's Eve.
we both worked in Louisiana. We both covered the Saints for a few years. So
It's always nice to see like our media family from there.
Our
when they come
frenemies.
into town.
I love to call them frenemies.
Okay, so
yeah.
Saints they're at the Rams this week, at Bucs next week on New Year's Eve, host the Falcons.
So I would say that's an L to the Rams, but dude, I'm 0 for 3. Last week I was wrong about everything. I was like, I feel like Green Bay could pull
I appreciate
through.
you bringing it to the forefront. I don't even remember what I had for lunch yesterday, let alone what you predicted. So I appreciate
only
you.
because I'm like, only because I'm like, you know what? I will admit this. Yeah. So 0 for 3. I thought the Saints would lose to the Giants. Really wrong about that. Oh my goodness. I think anyone could have predicted that the Falcons were going to beat the Panthers, but
Wait, no, I'm sorry. I said the Saints have the Rams next, and by next I mean tomorrow. I forgot they were the Thursday game.
oh, true. Yeah, they do have that short week.
But a longer week getting ready for the Bucs though.
Dun, dun,
Extra
dun.
time to prepare for the Bucs.
And that's always a gift. That is always a gift. You know what's always a gift too? Bucs Bonus. Come on, you love us. Yeah, we're here every single Wednesday bringing you all the things, all the latest on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple, watch us on YouTube. Guys, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed. Of course, Buckified, man, he made my day coming in here.
I loved having him in
next
here.
week too. Yeah,
It was great.
Amazing. Well, hopefully we're talking about another Bucs win next week. They are crushing it, and so are you. Have a good week.